Behind Ellen's smile, the truth behind the curtain. For years, the Ellen DeGeneres Show was one of the most beloved talk shows in North America. Millions tuned in daily to see Ellen's cheerful smile, her lighthearted jokes, and her colorful celebrity guests. She was seen as a symbol of kindness, diversity, and positive energy. But in 2020, the glossy surface began to crack. The smile that wasn't always real. No one expected a show as joyful as Ellen to have such a dark and complex backstage. On camera, Ellen was always smiling, calm, charismatic, and warm, but behind the scenes, things were very different. Rumors swirled. Ellen reportedly treated staff poorly. Certain guests were censored for speaking outside the show's boundaries, and some celebrities agreed to appear only if guaranteed no real question would be asked. Public opinion became divided. Some saw Ellen as the embodiment of wholesome entertainment, while others believed her friendly image was a carefully constructed mask hiding a profit-driven machine. The situation escalated when a former producer said in a shaky interview, "So many people left, so many people were burned just for standing up to Ellen. I was one of them." When the smile cracked, the real story behind Ellen's show, everything began with a few tweets. A former employee wrote, "Working there was like hell. Silence, fear, mental pressure, and yes, we were all forced to smile even when we were crying inside." Soon, a wave of testimonies followed. Several former and current employees spoke out about the show's toxic work environment, racism, discrimination, and backstage abuse. One even claimed they were told not to shake hands with an executive producers because they were fresh from Africa. Ellen initially stayed silent. Under media pressure, she finally released a statement. "If anyone felt disrespected, I'm sorry. That was never my intention." But many felt that wasn't enough. Over 30 former employees said the show had become a place of fear, where silence was survival. A producer commented her motto was always be kind, but that kindness only existed on paper. Reporters also revealed that Ellen barely interacted with her own staff. She allegedly had rules preventing anyone from speaking to her or even looking at her in hallways unless she initiated it. After an internal investigation, 3 executive producers were fired. Despite this, Ellen's reputation was permanently damaged. The show ended in 2022 after its 19th season. While Ellen claimed the decision was made beforehand, many believed it was a direct response to the 2020 scandal. Public and media reaction. The reactions were mixed. Some believed Ellen was simply a victim of cancel culture and overblown media outrage, but many others felt it was time powerful Hollywood figures were held accountable. One viewer tweeted, "We trusted her because we thought she was different. Turns out she was just another actor playing kind." Where it all started. In April 2020, comedian Kevin T. Porter tweeted, "Ellen is notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, and I'll watch every one of with $2 to @LA Food Bank." The tweet went viral. Hundreds of people, former employees, and audience members shared stories that didn't align with the image of the kindness woman on TV. Testimonies of fear, discrimination, and silence. BuzzFeed News published the first in-depth expose quoting 11 former staff members who described the work environment as filled with racism, fear, psychological pressure, and forced silence. Some examples. A black employee said an executive joked, "I only know 2 black people, Kevin Hart and you." Another employee was fired for taking a day off to attend a funeral. Some employees who disclosed a struggle with anxiety or depression were not supported. Instead, they were pushed out. More serious allegations, sexual harassment, and abuse of power. BuzzFeed's further investigations revealed that executive producers Ed Glavin, Kevin Lehman, and Jonathan Norman were accused of sexual misconduct, inappropriate touching, and abusing their positions. One former employee recalled Kevin Lehman sending a message during a company party. "Wanna finish this in the bathroom?" Ellen and the producers respond. Ellen issued a statement. "When I started this show, I wanted to create a space that was happy, safe, and respectful. Unfortunately, some didn't behave the way I expected. I'm sorry for that." But many weren't satisfied. They believed Ellen was aware of everything, even if she wasn't directly involved. A staffer said, "You don't host a show for 17 years and not know how your team behaves, especially when they act out of fear of you." Aftermath and the show's end, WarnerMedia conducted an internal investigation. The 3 accused producers were fired. Ellen hosted one final season but announced the show would end. Behind the scenes, sources said declining viewership and mounting pressure sped up the decision to cancel the show. Allegations of racism and harassment intensified. By summer 2020, former staff members were openly talking about workplace abuse, including racial discrimination and being penalized for legally protected time off or illness. A black employee shared, "When I wore my hair in African braids, a producer said, 'Oh, now we'll have to tell you 2 parts?' Everyone laughed. Ellen was there. She averted her eyes." Sexual misconduct behind the scenes. Kevin Lehman allegedly made frequent sexual jokes at work parties and asked young employees to spend time with him. Jonathan Norman was accused of inviting a staff member to his room and using threats to coerce him into a sexual relationship. After internal investigations, all 3 producers were fired, but no criminal proceedings followed. Ellen's silence. At the height of the controversy, Ellen remained mostly silent. When she finally spoke, she said, "I'm really sorry some people felt that way, but I wasn't aware of the details." For many employees, that was a slap in the face. How could she not know what was happening right in front of her? Final chapter, the fall of a brand. Sponsors pulled out, viewers left, WarnerMedia acted quickly. Ellen finished her final season with a bittersweet smile. She said, "It was time, I was just tired." But many believe the exit wasn't voluntarily, it was a strategic retreat to protect the network and avoid legal fallout. No comeback in sight. In a world where the truth eventually finds the light, Ellen DeGeneres became yet another celebrity unmasked by the public who once adored her. Her show ended, her brand of kindness collapsed, and now when people think of The Ellen Show, it's not the laughs they remember, it's the fear, the silence, and the smile that came at the high cost. Wider impact. The Ellen story became a textbook example of how the image of perfect media personalities can fall apart. It forced audiences to rethink their blind trust in celebrities and pushed networks to take transparency, employee well-being, and workplace fairness more seriously. Thank you for watching this video. Don't miss I Spice.